Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Odin Sphere. So we have our fourth book to get into right now, The Black Sword. This is Oswald's story. And you start to see with Mercedes how they tried to spice things up in the game. They completely take everything you knew about the POW bar system and threw that out the window and changed it to Mercedes ammo thing. And they're going to do that again. They're going to really spice things up with Oswald. You'll see that once we get into his tutorial after the opening cutscenes here.
As I thought, trying to avoid one's fate is like trying to stop the stars. Not even those who see the future can keep from carrying out their fates.
Why were you holding back? I was opened several times.
Do not worry about me. Your Belder Reaver is a weapon without peer. My time is up. Use my death to validate the claims of its power. Take my head and announce your victory to the commander of the fairies.
You should be aware that all this was caused by that country. But they did not hire me. My father specifically asked me to do this.
He is not your father. Your real father is a man named Edgar.
That means nothing. That is just the name of a man who abandoned a baby. Melvin is my only father. Even though I am human, he raised me as his own.
Do not forget that when the time comes.
You talk as if you know everything. Let me cease your tongues flapping.
Shadow Master who threatens the darkness. Seek the bird. That shall be your destiny.
It is as Melvin said. As long as I have this Belder Reaver, even the dragon shall fear me.
Alright, so we got a couple things there. One. Is this another cutscene that I need to... No, okay. One, Oswald... Melvin's not his father. I'm going to avoid using the dark powers for a second here. In fact, now let's grab this. There was one here, I heard it. Oh, they just took it away. Okay. Oswald's not Melvin's son. As you can see, he's not an elf or a fairy or anything like that. He's not Sylvan. His father was Edgar, which Oswald says doesn't mean anything. That's just the name of a guy who abandoned a baby. There's something about the use of baby in like the rest of the language and diction they're using that just it makes it sound really weird, but that will be important later. I think we may have heard Edgar's name already, but I'm not 100% positive. So I'm going to hold off on the tutorial just while I talk for a second here. Also, oh, that's where it was. Alright. There was also the... something else. Oh, he said the Shadow Master that rivals the darkness or fights the darkness or something. That's, I think we've heard that a little bit in that the Halia come to capture Oswald all the time, that Odette wants him for his Belder because his soul was sold, and I think we have either already learned that in Mercedes' chapter, or we learned a little more about it in Oswald's chapter here, but the idea is that when Brahm made the Belder River, he needed to do something to make it better. And so he sold Oswald's soul to, I think it was Brahm that sold Oswald's soul to, it might have been Melvin. I think Brahm did it on Melvin's orders. So they're like complicit in it. But they sold Oswald's soul to Odette to make the Bell of the River super strong, and then just gave him the Bell of the River so that she could never come take her half of the bargain. So that's why the Halia constantly come to grab Oswald. So if he looks away for a second, you know, the Halia come after him, and he has to fight them off. And I think that's what Hindel's getting at there with the idea that he's a master of shadows that threatens the darkness. I think he said threatens the darkness. And Hindle is supposed to be a dragon that can see the future. We know that... Was it Cornelius? Or was it... I think it was Cornelius that came to see Hindle and ended up seeing Wagner. But it might have been Mercedes. One of the two that go up the mountain and end up fighting Wagner were there to see Hindle because he apparently can see the future. Oh, sorry. My cold just doesn't want to go away. And so... I think we can kind of take when Hindel's words as pretty important. I think the last thing he says is, Oswald, seek the bird. And I think it should be pretty obvious that the bird he's talking about is Gwendolyn there. That he's saying that Oswald's destiny is with Gwendolyn. Anyway, so I talked about, as we were loading up into the chapter here, about how Oswald does something with the POW bar that's very different than Gwendolyn and Cornelius, and that is his dark power. If you hold square, you go shadow form, and his POW bar will slowly empty. It empties very quickly, you saw there. And you can hold square again while in it to change back, and I'll do it here. And then we start with the boss. Now, we don't have any unlimited powers, so we actually have to fight this boss. Like, for real. It's not super hard, you just kind of wail on it. Because obviously they're not going to give you a hard fight for your first fight. Taking a lot of damage on it, but it's not that bad. There he is. There we go. I lost 60% of my... That's what? 66% of my HP. I lost 2/3 of my HP. Not very good, but were those all aerials? No, that was silver, okay. So now we have to figure out how we're gonna do this. So basically, much like how I always wanted to have unlimited powers and painkillers on the hand for Mercedes, and it certainly trivialized basically every boss that Mercedes had to fight, I'm in a very similar position here with Oswald, where I want every instance I can get of unlimited power.
This is the strongest blade among all ciphers. It surpasses even the might of the Demon Lord's weapon, Baylor.
I have heard that the power of the sword is enough to ward off curses.
Good. Leave us, Oswald. There is nothing to fear. We shall not be harmed. This allows us to perform otherwise dangerous feats, such as hunting dragons.
What have you done? Are the rumors indeed true? Has Hindle been killed?
This amazing sword can cut through a dragon's armored hide like butter. If this sword can be mass-produced, the lesser nations will kneel to us.
First of all, because it requires selling someone's soul to literally the devil, I don't think it can be mass-produced.
What did the Queen say?
Well, Brom, the Queen highly praised the sword you created. But she hesitates to mass-produce it. 'Tis frustrating.
Aren't you afraid? I am terrified myself. Many have been taken by the sword's curse, and have been turned into ghosts. What fate awaits Oswald?
Don't look so glum, Brom. Oswald shall be fine. He is a true swordsman.
Oh,
Melvin, the messengers are calling.
I shall be there shortly. Brom, I suggest you do not concern yourself with this. It won't do you any good.
I never should have crafted that weapon. Ah, it will part the heavens and tear the earth asunder.
Are we good? Okay. So, that was a prelude. We see that apparently slaying Hindle is not something that Alfaria was cool with. That Melvin might have done something bad there. And that Brom, as we already kind of know from later in other people's stories, pretty heavily regrets
Demon Lord's daughters
making
are
the Belder
evil.
River.
They lead the Valkyries and gleefully slaughter all they face in battle.
It is too much to expect us to fight against such fiends.
The Demon Lord's daughters are evil. They lead the Valkyries and
You two be
gleefully
quiet.
slaughter all they face in battle.
Death's apprentice. We shall not require the assistance of your despicable power. The Unicorns and Paladin will dispose of the Aesir threat.
The Unicorns and Paladins.
Oh, Belder wielder.
You are our pride and joy. Our people have scattered after the war between the fairies and the dwarves.
Those who fled served the Demon Lord, while those who failed to escape were captured and sworn to serve the fairies.
We left our forges, which meant everything to us. But now the time has come for the Queen to realize our power.
Alright, so here, the Unicorns, the Paladins, and everybody, they think Oswald's a piece of shit, they want him gone. Which, I mean, that's just a regular old fear of the unknown prejudice. The dwarves say he's their greatest achievement, and they're super cool with him. Also, we learned that apparently there was a war with the fairies and the dwarves earlier, and that all the dwarves either fled or were captured. Those that fled now are Odin's dwarves, but originally the dwarves were here in these forests. And, that the dwarves that lost the war, serve the fairies now. They're the Lillipats, I think they're called. And that apparently they're not allowed forges. Except for Brahm, I guess.
Don't come any closer! They say that sword is cursed!
So it's a little unclear exactly what the curse is. It might be like you have to wield it and they come after you, and maybe it's not even Oswald's soul that's been sold, it's just the second you pick up the Belder River, you belong to Odette if you can't fight off the Holly or something. Because they talked in the last scene about how multiple people have been turned to ghosts for using the sword.
Oswald, do not place too much trust in Melvin.
Yeah, he's kind of a shithead.
He thinks nothing of you. Let me prove it.
Speak not of Melvin. I will not hear a word against him.
Sorry, just had to check something. So yeah, Oswald Oswald likes Melvin. As we saw with his conversation with Hindle, he considers Melvin his father. Melvin takes him in, raises him, gives him purpose. So he doesn't want to hear Brom's mounting list of evidence that Melvin is a huge douchebag. And we can go to Puka Village right off the start.
Please don't scowl at me like that. I'm just a local guide. How about a meal?
So we have 10 gold, so we can't really buy anything. And he doesn't sell us the, sorry, the accessory I want, top our blade level. And we don't have aerial coins, so we can't actually make anything in there. So the only reason to go in there would be to, like, buy the food that they normally sell, which we don't need to do. So we'll just jump into the first area, which is going to be the Nebulapolis. Polis is, I think, Greek for city. I don't know if I ever mentioned that before. So it's Nebula City. Odin Town.
Oswald, I must speak up. Listen to me. This is about the fate of your sword. I deeply regret handing you that sword. That blade will take its wielder to the Netherworld, where he loses his soul. Those revenants up in the mountains, they are former users of the Belriva. The same fate awaits.
Bro! I told you, it won't do you any good. Right now, your reluctance is holding back the war efforts of our nation. But it is not in my nature to soil my hands with the blood of my friends. I shall send you to the Netherworld. The Halia will take care of you. Take the traitor away!
Lord Melvin! The pride that keeps you so fearless will be the thing that leads to your death.
He fears the power of the sword and has lost his nerve. Don't concern yourself. Or are you beginning to despise the sword yourself?
All I wish is to be able to continue serving you. I shall obey your commands.
Ah, Oswald. I'm so lucky to have such a devoted son. Now, come here. I have a task which only you can perform. 'Tis reconnaissance into the very heart of the enemy.
No, we're going there. So that's the scene where Brom gets taken away to the Netherworld, which is why Mercedes has to go there. And it's because he has the gall to tell Oswald that, sorry, I'm just going to do the fight here. Has the gall to tell Oswald that the what were they called? Revenants up on Horn Mountain are people who used to use the Belt River. Which seems a little strange, but oh well. So we start off with Invisible, which is basically garbage. I feel like I only ever really use Overload and maybe a clearing one like Cyclone or Mercedes First Shot, but then again I don't really. Cover our map, because they're going to give it just the beginning here. And we get a mulberry seed that we could let grow because might as well. But we do want to look around for any... Ooh, there. There's one. Oh, sweet, sweet Carroteers. Because, oh man, are we going to want to make unlimited powers. If at all possible. So just one? Only going to be one for the beginning here? Alright. Well, that'll be it for that. So, we have our map, so I'm thinking we go up here, obviously. That'll get us, sorry, materials. And then, so we can make at least one unlimited power, which means we can fight one of the mini-bosses. And I guess we fight the one on the left, because A, it gives us another material, and B, it opens up the path to everything super easy. Yeah, that seems like the best way to do it. So that's what we're going to do for the next couple episodes, is make our way through Ragnarok with Oswald. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. If you liked the video, press the like button, show your support. It helps a whole lot. And if you want to see more from the channel, make sure you subscribe. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.